And a very good evening to all my viewers out there. It is a very slushy and kind of an evening when the precipitation can't make up its mind about what it wants to do. It's snowing and raining. Right now it is Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. It's about 10:19 p.m. here on the corner of the Maisonneuve and Fort Street. And in case you're wondering, yes, this bike path is open. It's open all year round specifically, and it's actually maintained in the winter, summer, spring, fall, you name it. They always put in the winter time, first of all they plow it and they put salt on it as well, which is why it's a all season bike path. And right now we're walking eastward here on the Maisonneuve, and you can see, of course, those new LED lights that are taking over the city, as those orange, I think they're called high pressured sodium lights, are becoming a thing of the past. And just to show you what we're contending with here, look at all this slush here, look at all this wetness and water everywhere, and not really fun. Although I was sort of getting excited when I was seeing that snowfall warning last night. It didn't really materialize too much. I think they were calling for first 15 to 20 centimeters, and it was 10 to 15, and then whatever did fall seems to be making its way into the sewer system, as you know, it's kind of normal around this time of year. As you know, we reach November into December, it's usually mixed precipitation. Sometimes it's rain, sometimes it's snow. And interestingly enough, I was actually looking at the water levels of the Montreal River, and apparently the Montreal River is officially under surveillance, which means there's the potential for some flooding, depending on you know, what happens in the days and weeks ahead. And I remember this time last year as well, the rivers were under surveillance. So we'll see what happens as the days and the weeks progress. And this is Saint Mark and the Maisonneuve, and directly to the north of me is Sherbrooke Street. And this mix of rain and snow, whatever's falling, not really comfortable to walk in, but you know, got to deal with it. It's a Canadian winter, I guess. As we continue eastward here, probably walk up to either Guy or maybe St. Matthew Street, which is the next block from here. There's a random bicycle wheel still tied up to that bicycle walking stand. By the way, I'm holding some bags here, so filming is a little awkward, but I intend to continue. And for all you curling fans out there, this is actually the Royal Montreal Curling Club. Very old building. It's been around for a while. Probably would be beautiful to look inside one day. And like I said, a lot of these old buildings in downtown Montreal are getting the way of the demolition crane, as unfortunately more development takes over. There's actually a story in the news about the famous milk jug in Montreal, which is it's pretty much a milk jug made of, I don't know if it's plastic or glass or something, huge milk jug that used to be on a milk factory in downtown Montreal, and I forget where it was exactly, but apparently this milk jug, and I've seen it numerous times, I should do a video on it while it's still there. Well, this milk jug, I think it's at least 10 feet tall, maybe more. This milk jug apparently is under threat right now, as they're building a new skyscraper in that area. So we'll see what happens if Heritage Montreal decides to keep it, which is, of course, the Heritage Montreal is the body that determines which buildings have heritage status. And if they do have heritage status, it means you can't touch them. You have to leave them as they are, or if you're going to develop them, and then you have to make sure that you keep the building in, you know, as pristine state as possible, original state as possible. Anyways, we'll take a quick walk down here to St. Catherine Street. There's Fire Station 10, and what we'll do is we'll walk down to maybe Guy Street, or Guy Street, depending how you want to pronounce it, and maybe walk down Guy and then turn and head back west on to Maisonneuve. But anyway, I decided just to do this little night video. It's been a while since I did a walking one, and you're going to see in a moment here, St. Catherine Street has the Christmas decorations up now on the poles. And I'll cross here in a minute. As you can see, not a very beautiful evening in terms of the sky either. Very cloudy, and I'm pretty sure it's rain falling now, straight rain. More like drizzle, you know, nothing really heavy. Take a look at some of those alleyways as we are walking south right now, heading up to St. Catherine Street, which is probably the busiest street in Montreal. So we'll walk down here a bit and then double back to the Maisonneuve. And yeah, we'll get to see, as an example of the Christmas decorations that are up this year. Probably the same ones as last year as well. Like I said, when there's a little bit more snow, it'll probably be better to film, give you more of the winter spirit than it is now. But you know, global warming and all that, it's like the winters are starting later and finishing earlier, meaning they're much more shorter than they used to be. Yep. There's Jean Coutu, the Quebec pharmacy, exclusive in Quebec. And you're going to see in a minute here, we have, it's called the Pharmaprix Pharmacy. It's actually the Shoppers Drug Mart. It's just the French version of it because, you know, in Quebec they got to do things differently. And you can see this whole block is being developed. This shopping center right here, well, it's kind of a shopping center. It's, they have stores in there, restaurants. They actually had insect infestation a couple of years ago. It was on the news that a lot of restaurants in there had to move out because of cockroaches and everything. And since that story broke, well, they've gutted the whole place, rebuilt everything, or at least they're in the process of doing it. And the 31 series bus, which, by the way, our Montreal buses right now are in a maintenance crisis. In case you haven't been following the news, a lot of breakdowns going on, and they're getting backlogged, and there's huge shortages of buses right now in the city. Kind of gives, you know, validation to all you folks out there that call the new buses scrap. We'll have to see what happens though as the fleet gets older. I know there's a bunch of hybrid buses, which are of course half electric, half gas powered, which have just been ordered. And now we are on Rue Guy, or Guy Street. And we're going to turn here. This building here, by the way, very old. Ironically, that says up there Bank of Toronto. And look what bank it is. It's the Toronto Dominion Bank now. So it's still the TD Bank. Or still a Toronto Bank, it's just kept a different name. Just changed names, I should say, but it's still the Quebec Bank. Oh yeah, by the way, look at that. That's what it looks like behind the bank machine right there. So, anyways, interesting. And you can tell this building is very old, but you know, they kept it in good condition. And over here is, I believe, Concordia University, one of the newer buildings. And one of the entrances to Concordia Metro Station is right over there in the corner, which we're walking to now. And the other one is, of course, where I'm going to end my video, which is to the west of here. We're going to head back onto the Maisonneuve in a minute. There's a 3100 articulated series. Another bus that has a lot of problems, especially in wintertime, going up the Côte de Neige hill. I'm going to try to get some videos this year when we have some snowstorms. Some of those buses getting stuck. There's one of the hybrid buses I was talking about, the 3700 series. And of course 37 means it was built in 2017, or at least came into operation in 2017. As things get a little bit more colorful here in the corner. So what we're going to do here is cross, and we're back on the Maisonneuve, and then we'll head west, and we'll conclude at the next corner, which you'll see the next entrance, the west entrance of the Concordia Metro Station. There's one of the blue fire hydrants, which of course are for the metro system. If there's ever a fire in there, that's what they're for. I don't know if it's exclusively for the metro system, or it takes priority for the metro system, but it definitely is connected to the metro system in some way. That's why they're blue. A lot of these buildings probably have some beautiful elevators that would be nice to film someday, but can't really get in unless you live there or work there. That's a Concordia University bus. Just went by. Very similar to the STM buses. Very ornate building, this one. Cocktail Hawaii. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up here in about 30 seconds or so, as we're back on the corner of St. Matthew and the Maisonneuve. And we'll conclude our little walking video here, because my hands are beginning to freeze a little bit. But hey, that's the price for videos, right? And it's worth the price, as I love bringing all my great viewers out there, as many videos as I can, and as many different subjects and variety of themes as I can. So we'll wrap her up here, and as always, wish all my viewers a good night and more videos to come.